Hi everyone! Today I'm here again with my non-review or my thoughts on Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I read this book for the book club, Just One More Page, which again the link will be down below. But I've had this book on my shelves for a few months before already because I was interested in this one. So there's dual timeline in this book. So there's 1969, in which a handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, and Kia, the marsh girl as everyone calls her, is being blamed for it. But she's not what she seems to be, because she's intelligent and sensitive. She's lived alone for many years in the kind of wilderness, surrounded by the girls. And then I'll just read you one sentence from the back. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kia opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. I don't actually know how to pronounce her. Kaya? Kia? I've been reading it Kia, but Kaya. I think Kaya makes more sense. I don't know, I'm gonna call her Kia because I don't know how to pronounce it anyway. This book is definitely not what I thought it was gonna be. It's so much better. It is essentially a coming-of-age story as well as a murder mystery. So what I liked about this book especially, like I said, there is a dual timeline, but we start from her childhood, from Kia's childhood. We learn her as a person, we learn her about her as a person, what she's been through, how her childhood has been, which was really fascinating to learn about, because the things that she's been through and how she managed to get through them and stay where she was is incredible. I found those chapters the most interesting, I think, from her childhood and then growing up, how she found herself essentially, the things that she was interested in. Because she was the marsh girl, she was living in a tiny house on the marsh. She was surrounded by just nature essentially, so she was outside of town, and yeah, so essentially girls were her friends, and she was just learning lessons of nature by being there constantly, which was fascinating to read about. And also the descriptions in this book were beautiful. I love Kia as a main character. She is wonderful, she's incredible. I don't think I've met a character like her in books for a long time, if ever. She's just, it was beautiful to read about her childhood, about her growing up, what kind of person she is and who she was becoming. It was so interesting and fascinating. I genuinely could not stop reading it at times. And so yeah, like I said, there's also a murder mystery underlining throughout it. So there will be chapters of her childhood, then a chapter from 1969 when they found the body and the investigation, how it all goes. So it was going like that, intertwining every time up until the point of when it sort of caught up with 1969. So we're now in the present 1969 and the trial is happening. The last portion of the book, good, I want to say 50, more than 50 pages even, they're like a murder trial in a courtroom, which you might think is boring, but it's far from that. I was amazed that I didn't find it boring, because it's written definitely not in a boring way. Yes, there are questions, there are witnesses, there are different situations, different points of view and all that. It was not boring at all, even though it was all official language and all that stuff. But I feel like we still found little bits and pieces until the very last page. So I think until the very last page I kept guessing, was it her who killed him? Was it not her? What happened? So literally until the very last page, when we finally got our answer, I thought it was incredible, because like I was explaining, it was not boring at all, because we kept finding out different bits and pieces of information that we didn't know before, or if we did, they kind of came together and make more sense. Sometimes it provide more questions, but then throughout those chapters we got to learn more answers. So I thought this book is done in such a brilliant way that not a single page of it is boring. There's one boy that she meets, Tate, I think that's how you say his name. He was one of my favorites. He was the sweetest, again, an amazing character, original I would say as well, because I've not come across many people like him in books before, characters I mean. I feel like this book is just genuinely like one of those masterpieces of modern literature, when There's a bit of a mystery, murder mystery, that is actually really interesting and keeps you wanting to know more, and also a coming of age story of a girl who lives on a marsh by herself. So all of those nature descriptions, how she learns all about it, the person that she becomes, the way her life story is incredible. I cried in this book on a few occasions, and there are a few tabs that I just absolutely loved. Either I loved the quotes, or I just wanted to remember the moment and come back to it at some point and reread all of that. I would read them to you, but they will be massive spoilers, but they are such sweet or touching moments of the story that I feel like this book is going to stay with me for a long time, because it's just, I think, one of those impactful books that is definitely on the original side. You've not come across many books like this, I think, especially the way it's done. I sometimes used to struggle with dual timelines, depending. I like them mostly, but sometimes it could be quite difficult to keep track. This one is just brilliant, I think. I can't find any single flaw about this book at all. It feels like I've forgotten a few things that I wanted to say, but at this point I can't think of anything else. So to summarize it, what I loved about this book is the characters. Definitely the characters. Writing style, the atmosphere of the book also, I didn't mention the atmosphere, is immersive and cozy. I think it's one of those books that you can call cozy, and it's so like calm, it's slow going but interesting, because her life is interesting. Maybe not her life is interesting, but the way it's written is interesting and makes you want to keep reading. And I wanted to go back to the characters because I started to miss them when I wasn't reading the book. So it's one of those books that pulls you in and leaves a big spot in your heart, I think. I definitely think this is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. If not, it might even join the list of my favorite books of all time. Not quite sure. I'll have to give it time to actually see how it changes or doesn't change. But yes, it's definitely going to leave an impact on me. I love the story, the plot, everything about this book. Like I said, I can't think of any flaw in this book at all. So I really, really loved this book. So yeah, these are all of my thoughts on Where the Crawdads Sing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!